Yes, masters. The next section, we are going to have Savitha Joshi ma'am. Savitha Joshi ma'am lives in Frisco, Dallas, Texas, with her two daughters and her and husband. Savitha Joshi ma'am credential awarded by the International Association of Yoga Therapists. Savitha Joshi ma'am is an experienced registered yoga teacher 500 hour. Madam serves as the executive director of the Dallas chapter of Yoga Bharati. She has served as the director and the treasurer of Yoga Therapy Services at SFB area chapter with a diploma in yoga therapy from SVYA SF Bangalore. And she specializes in women's yoga and yoga for psychosomatic disorders and children's yoga therapy. For a couple of years, Madam has served as a executive director of an online Sanskrit school. Presently, Savitha Madam is a faculty for yoga teacher training programs and is a sought after speaker at various yoga retreats and conferences. So, I welcome Savitha Joshi ma'am to the session. Savitha Joshi ma'am, over to you ma'am. Welcome ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Pavitra, for a warm welcome and introduction. Thank you, Padmaji. And I was listening to the previous speaker, Basantaji. That's a beautiful, beautiful message. Sometimes we somebody has to tell us like this, right? We know all of these things, but when somebody says like that, right? So when somebody says with authority, and you want to listen. So thank you, Vasantaji. That was a beautiful message from Patriji that you brought, microwave and all of that. And I was just thinking about my journey through yoga, and Chandrika has asked me to share my journey into yoga, and I want to share that with you. I'm very sorry. I'm at a very weird place here in the car. For some reason, I thought it was tomorrow, and luckily, I have some time to stretch and then come and sit here and spend with you all. And feel free to ask any questions also in between. I'm sure many of your journey also is like mine. Like I'm going to share my journey, and you probably can resonate with what I have. Am I audible? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So um, recently I turned 50 last month, and it came with the mixed feelings. Mostly good ones. We like when we were small or when we were in the very young age, we think, oh, what does 50 years look like? Like all gray hair, or the body is all crumpled and you cannot do many things and all that. But it was really, really interesting for me as a yoga teacher, as a yoga practitioner, and not just at a physical level, but at all different dimensions, like physical body, breath, which is the prana is behind the breath, the mind, intellect, and the bliss. So, doing yoga at all these different dimensions, not just physical yoga, physical exercise anybody can do. So, in March of 2025, I visited my sister who is in Boise, and Idaho gets a lot of snow. So, and I have learned skiing many years ago. In '98, when I came to US, I had an opportunity to learn skiing. I was in California for many years, for 24 years, before I moved to Dallas. So skiing was in my muscles, right? It's like muscle memory. So this was after 4 years I was trying to ski, and I was very nervous because I didn't want to fall. I didn't want to fall, break my bones, and in my mind, oh, I'm turning 50 next month, and how do I do it? So I asked my husband and my children. I have a 17-year-old and 15-year-old daughters. So they are pro. I mean, they can do quite much better than me. So I asked them to go to a different place, and you guys do your advanced and whatever you want to. So I just started to go on my own. And interestingly, the body was so cooperative to me, as I was skiing down the hill. I could do my moves. I mean, I never tried my moves before, like turns. Like I was just straight coming down, and that's what I was doing all these years, almost like 25 years. I did like that whenever I went for skiing. But this time, I could do the turns. And can you believe, and I was saying to myself, can you believe you're doing these turns at age 50? So, which means that there is no limit, there is a biological age and there is a chronological age, right? So you can age, in the mind you can say, oh, I'm 50, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. But in the same mind, you can bring that thought of that strength, right? So that strength and courage will take you further. So it was a very, very interesting. And as soon as I came home after the 1 week trip, I wrote down all those, what I was feeling at that point. I didn't want to miss any of those. So whatever I was feeling, I had a little bit of nervousness, I had a little bit of um, like an anxiousness and all of that. But to my surprise, I was perfectly fine. And 3 hours, I said, please don't come with me. I want to enjoy by my own. And I went on and on and on. So that is the power that we have. And, Vasantaji was sharing about all the food and the habits and the microwave and all that. And many of which I have brought to my lifestyle as well. So going back to my childhood, I was growing up more, I would say, a little more contained in my family because we are Brahmins, and Vasantaji shared Brahmin simple food, right? So that's what I ate jowar rotis, lots of greens, lots of puddis, and no oil, because oil was very scarce at that time, right? So we wouldn't get like 5 liters of oil in a Costco and all of that. So we ate good food, nourishing food. And my uh, uh, like my like I liked to be healthy, so I used to grow my wheatgrass. I mean, in my teenage times, I was very inspired by Mahatma Gandhiji's books. And not that I read too much about his life and all that, but I got the books on, in Kannada, it says Godi Hullina Kaipidi. So I had that Kannada book, and I used to grow my wheatgrass. So I grew my wheatgrass, and my mom and dad's, parents supported with all my crazy stuff I had, and eating a lot of raw food like sprouts and all of that. So these were there. And my mom and my family is more into bhakti yoga. So bhakti, like bhajans and lots of rituals, no onion, no garlic. No onion, no garlic till almost 22 years. And we used to like, as we were small. I mean, of course, I guess our minds are drawn into those senses, right? The smell that Basantaji was sharing, the smell was there. We used to get drawn. But culturally, in the house, there was no onion, no garlic, and a more spent time being in the good group satsang. And that was my childhood. And fast forward to 1998, I got married, and I came to the US, like just like many of the people here. And had an opportunity to do study further. So I did my master's. I did my engineering in India, engineering in electronics and communications. And after I came here, I had an opportunity to do masters in business administration. I finished my MBA, and through that, in 2004, which is about 6 years after I came, um, somehow I got into yoga. So there was these yoga classes that were happening every Sunday, and me and my husband, we went together. We didn't have children yet at that time. So the yoga became like a part of life. part of my like habit. So every week I used to wait and go to the class and go to the farmers market, get some nice fruits, vegetables, and come home. So after a year, I was drawn into doing yoga teacher training program. So 2005, I plunged into taking the yoga teacher training program. And I was working at that time. I was working in the corporate sector, very very stressful. I was working for insurance company, and it was an internal risk and insurance that was my work. And I would come home and more delve into yoga and our organization Yoga Bharati. I started volunteering a little bit over there as well. So 2007, I had my first daughter. In 2009, I had my second daughter. 2008 and 9, I quit my job. I said, "This is my calling. I really love to be in the yoga organization, giving back whatever little I learned there." And then I started giving more and more time to the organization's work. So through that, I studied again, which is diploma in yoga therapy, which is 800 hours training, and that gave me a lot of tools to help people with ailments. So if you are a yoga teacher, you probably can help with wellness or yoga for positive health, people who don't have any problems. But if you want to give yoga for people with back pain, fertility, diabetes, cancer, post operation, and all of that, you need to study a little more. So I finished my 800-hour training that gave me a lot of tools. So continued the journey with Yoga Bharati. And my children were growing up, and as they were growing up, obviously they also got exposed to yoga. And no, looking back, worked quite hard. I mean, the work is very hard when it is like a when you are starting, right? So think as a startup. So if you're working for a startup, you have to work a lot of hours, long hours. You have to sacrifice a lot of your family time, sometimes evenings, mornings, weekends, and all of that. But I am very proud to say my husband is very supportive of what I do. Obviously, otherwise it wouldn't have happened what we have. Then um, 2000 uh 21 22 2022 July, I moved to Dallas, Texas. Texas is another state. We used to be in California, which is west coast in the US, and Texas is the central part of the US. So after coming here, I took up the responsibility of the whole chapter, like starting a chapter. So there was no Yoga Bharati in Dallas. So I started the chapter over here. So I function as an executive director over here. And I think Chandrika wanted to share. I want to be very open in terms of what I'm sharing here, because it's not easy to lead certain aspects of the organization. Because again, evening time, being a female, it is not easy. Like leaving your family and going places. Sometimes it can be evening dinner. Of course, it's in a nice setting, but it's not easy to leave the family and go and to lead an organization. It is very difficult. Difficult in the sense it's challenging to be able to uh, keep up with all the needs of the organization. So the first year started with children's classes. Then we started yoga teacher training program because we needed to have more and more teachers to take up the work. Because yoga organization means you have to teach yoga, right? So you have to have a trained teachers. So our trained teachers, first year we had 8 students in Dallas. Second year we had 9 students, and overall the organization started slowly growing. And I'm focusing more on the yoga therapy for our team. what is yoga therapy? You may ask a question, right? What is yoga therapy there? So in yoga therapy, what we do is we bring the aspects of physical practices, obviously, because we feel our body. So we have to do physical practices, and to heal the prana, the energy, the vital force, we have pranayama practices or breathing techniques. Actually, prana is not breath. Breath is not prana. Prana is behind the breath. So breath is a tool to manipulate the prana. So then we have lots of meditation techniques, different, pyramid meditation. I mean, all forms of meditations are wonderful, and of course, we gravitate towards certain kind of meditation, and we continue that, right? So we have sound-based meditation, we have visualization, we have yoga nidra meditation, and many other techniques, pranayama-based meditation, and then we also do a lot of coaching, counseling, because most of our problems are notions, like, oh, I like this color so much, or I don't like this color so much. So these likes and dislikes and all of these things are quite interesting, right? So those are the things which people get into, and then the mind, problems in the mind slowly comes to the prana, and then slowly comes to the body. So that's how the problems travel, and then our thinking also goes haywire, right? So we forget what is right and what is wrong. So that is, the intellect also goes haywire. So all of these things creates a lot of problems, and then the bodily we start getting ailments. So in yoga therapy, we focus on all the different areas: physical practices, pranayama practices, mind practices, then coaching we call yogic counseling. So a lot of yogic counseling, and typically 3 months to 1 year is where they come with us, and mostly they are one on one, and some of it we do group coaching, group counseling as well. So that is what I enjoy. I do it throughout the day, and also we have a wonderful team here. um, do a lot of teacher training programs, yoga therapy teacher training programs, and it's a wonderful journey. So I would end here if you have any questions. Otherwise, we can do a short some practice, like breathing techniques. We can do some practice if you are all ready. Does the story kind of gravitate with many of you here? How many of you are engineers? Hmm. Yeah, many people couldn't turn on their videos, looks like, but whoever can, right? Okay, some videos on. So yeah, now I have a little light here. It's very interesting, and I'm really happy that pyramid meditation. This group is bringing all the women together who have similar things. And one, I mean, last weekend we had a Ayurveda conference, and they had asked me to speak for a couple of hours, and of course yoga, and we deep dived into different yoga techniques, and what are these techniques. What are the techniques for diabetes? What are the techniques for back pain? And we went like ailment by ailment and all that. It was a 2 hour thing. And I was sharing one another piece over there. Like when I came to the US, right? So of course there is freedom. Freedom is very interesting word. Freedom versus free will, right? So what is freedom versus free will? We can think about that for a later time. Uh, but somehow I felt when I came to US that I had more tools to do things. Like, I felt like, of course, that freedom comes with the problem as well, which I'm going to share. Um, I felt like, I can do whatever I can. This was 98 and it was in my early 20s. And yes, I did whatever I wanted to. Very lazy lifestyle, eating whatever and all of that, right? So when I came to the US, felt like had wings and I was flying and all of that. But it also had a price. In 2000, it hit me very hard. What How it hit me is by um, uh, how it hit me is, I had a back pain. I started to have my lower back pain, L5S1, started to act up. And uh, so, with that, I was quite taken aback. And, that freedom also came with the price, right? So, I think maybe that back pain made me to uh, come to something like this, because after doing engineering, after doing your MBA, are you kidding me? You want to do yoga and you want to, just volunteer for life, and then what are you up to? That kind of a thing. And this was in my 20s, not even in my 30s, right? So it's interesting. Some of these setbacks help us bring us back into the path. Sometimes you have to fall to get up and straighten yourself. So, and luckily that fall was not that bad for me. And that bouncing back was very, very interesting. It was not the physical problem that I had, it was also the mind that was acting up. I was super sensitive, I was very sensitive to things. And so many things are happening around, and now if I regress, if I think backward, I can see how that problem was. There was no slip and fall, there was no accident, there was no nothing. Why did I end up with my back pain? Of course, weak was the core was weak, all of that was there. But fundamentally, it was the mind. So I used the same mind to bounce back. So the mind was a problem. Like, you use the thorn to remove the thorn, right? So you can use the thorn only to remove the thorn. You need something sharp to remove that thorn. So the mind is like that. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. So mind itself will take us to that slippery slope, or mind can help you bounce back. And that is something which I realized. And of course, if I am able to do, and that's what that is the experience I give it to my clients as well, as they come with anything. It might be anything that they have. It's interesting. So that's one piece I was going to add, and I hope it kind of kindled some things in your mind, and hope it will help in your life. My life story will help in your life as well. Let's do a little small pranayama technique if you're all up to it. So very, very simple. We are going to do simple breath watching and sahaja pranayama. And it can be done throughout the day. There is no contraindications. And it shoulders collapsed. Gently close your eyes. Watch your breath at the tip of the nose as the breath comes in and the breath leaves out. At the tip of the nose, watch the breath. Maybe the cool sensation as the breath comes in at the tip of the nose, and the warm sensation as the breath goes out. And now let us follow this breath from the tip of the nostrils, in the walls of the nostrils, touching the inner walls of the nostrils. And as the breath continues, continue to follow it through the trachea, all the way through the lungs. And this exchange of the gases takes place. And as the breath comes out, feel the warm sensations in the walls of the nostrils. And then you breathe it out. Continue watching the breath without any giving any attention to the thoughts, without giving any attention to the nature of the thoughts, to the emotions that the at the moment the thoughts are bringing in. Just follow the breath. Simple following of your breath. Take a deep breath in, the healing breath that comes in. And as you breathe out, your body feels lighter and lighter. Every exhalation, body becomes light. Every inhalation, your body energizes, brings energy in the body. And breathing out, you feel lighter and lighter. Finally, adding emotions to the breath, breathing in positivity, any positive memory of the past, and breathing out any negativity, any fear of the future, any anxious feeling of the future. Breathe it out. And continue for one more deep breath in and exhale completely. Gently open your eyes, rub your palms, rubbing them to generate some warmth and heat, and place the palms, both the palms, on the eyes, passing the warmth, energy, prana to the eyes, and gently blink open your eyes. Thank you very much. So nice to see you all. I wish I could have been in a better place with my the nice background, but thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank
Pavitra,
you, ma'am.
Padmaji.
That was a wonderful journey, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
inspiring, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am.